Hey guys, my name is Dice Rollin. Today we're going to be taking a look at, you guessed it, more horror movies that you probably never even knew about, and for good reason. Continuing the tradition that I started, and you guys latched onto, I have gone spelunking into the depths of the utterly off-the-wall and fever dream infested, in order to find the kind of horror movies that will haunt your subconscious. So without further ado, this is my list of 10 WTF Horror Movies Part 4. Blood of the TRIBADES. This 2016 film tells the story of the village of Bathory, created by the vampire Bathor. Just one sentence in and I already feel like they're hitting me over the head with a bat. Alright. In this village, a war of sorts is being waged between the men and the women. Specifically, the vampiric women who are awaiting the return of Bathor. So I guess if you want to see a bunch of vampire ladies, then this is a good film for you. Bonus points for a variety of goth and leather outfits. Ticks. This is a 1993 movie about some teens who are taken camping in the wilds of California. The problem is there's a bunch of bloodthirsty mutant ticks around. I mean, ticks are bad enough, why you gotta make them bigger? But how could I forget the reason why these normally minute bugs are the way they are? It's because of steroid-infused marijuana plants. Somehow, there are some familiar faces here with Clint Howard, Seth Green, Peter Scolari, and Alfonso Ribeiro. Here's a little piece of trivia for you. Ticks aren't insects. They are closer to scorpions and spiders. Great, now that I'm feeling so much better about this, let's continue. The Killer SHREWS. What would a list like this be without a giant bloodthirsty animals movie? This 1959 film is about a group of people stuck on an island where scientific experiments are conducted on members of the rodent family. And we all know how well that typically goes. At some point, they mutate and become as big as wolves and start eating anything and everything they can get to. Oh, and just to throw some more chaos into the mix, there's a hurricane. We are going to need some very large mousetraps. And yes, those are dogs wearing costumes. Terror at Bloodfart Lake. Because I certainly can't make this shit up myself! Coming out in 2009, this is a horror comedy about some college friends who decide they want to spend the weekend at a secluded cabin. And there just so happens to be a masked killer on the loose. I don't know what I want to comment on first. Should it be the fact that despite being filmed in 2009, it looks like it's found footage from the early 90s? Or what about how they attempt to get as close to plagiarizing Friday the 13th in the trailer without actually having Sean S. Cunningham sue them? Or perhaps that I simply cannot tell if they were aiming for a level of absurdity that had previously been unmatched, or if it was just accidental. CHILLERAMA. This is a 2011 anthology of sorts, with 4 separate stories created by 4 directors within. One about werebears, and I don't mean bears, I mean bears. A Frankenstein's monster type of story with a twist, shall we say. This being titled The Diary of Anne Frankenstein, so you pretty much know the themes here. Another that parodies B-level zombie movies. And finally, a story simply entitled Wadzilla. Do I really need to give you the premise of that one? I think it paints the picture for itself. Trash Humpers. I'm really not sure how to describe this one to you folks. Essentially, this is a 2009 movie about a group of elderly people who clearly need to adjust their medications. And if you're concerned about the authenticity of this title, don't worry, it's genuine. I'm assuming that the reason this one is listed under horror is because you'll be having nightmares about uncanny old people masks long after watching this film. CLOWNADO. How shall I sum this 2019 movie up? Okay, tornado threatens a town, but in said tornado is a group of demonic clowns. It's kinda like if Twister had Pennywise thrown in. It gets better though, because apparently our ragtag group of heroes is comprised of an Elvis impersonator, truck driver, a stripper, and a runaway teenager, and a few other select individuals. If it's any consolation, somewhere in this ever-twisting mess is Linnea Quigley. That's pretty much the only point in its favor that I can see. ELVES. Truly a premise for a horror movie that could only hope to survive in the late 80s. What we have here is a bunch of killer elves, right? Yes.
But wait! There's more!
There are also Nazis conducting experiments to create the perfect race, and in order to succeed, they need the ever-popular virgin girl trope. And there's ex-detective Dan Haggerty as a rogue Santa who may be able to save the day. The perfect holiday horror movie for when you're tripping on acid. On a side note, I couldn't even find a trailer for this movie that was higher quality than 240p. Fuck. Alien Tampon. I feel like just saying the title was enough of a joke. A 2015 short film about a young student who accidentally uses a tampon infected with alien blood, which causes her to turn into a monster, and thus a group is formed to try to stop her before the whole world is infected. Oh, that's great! Not only do you run a risk of toxic shock when using tampons, but now alien mutation. Escape from Tomorrow. If you've ever wanted to know what it's like to take acid while at Disney World, this movie comes pretty close. A lot of people have compared this to a creepypasta that's been committed to film, and that makes no sense. It was also shot at actual Disney parks without the knowledge or permission of those in charge, if that tells you anything. Escape from Tomorrow is the story of an unemployed father who experiences some truly bizarre things while on vacation with his family at Disney World. It's all in black and white, and I don't know why. There's also mention of a couple of underage girls, and if that's going where I think it's going, I don't want to go there. So that was my list of 10 more what the fuck horror movies that you maniacs provided submissions for. I just want to mention that in the comments of my last WTF list, you guys went nuts! So this list was essentially put together all by you. And if you didn't see a movie that you requested or suggested, then you know what that means. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like to let me know. Don't forget to leave a comment down below and tell me which of these movies you think is the weirdest. And if you know of any truly WTF inspiring horror movies, because I might include them in my next list. Also, don't forget to share this video to help the channel grow, and subscribe for more videos like this. See you later.